Hey YouTube, welcome back to my channel. I am back with another video, and today's video is the start of a new series that I am calling Living on Your Own in Your 20s. I know that's a very long title, still working through it. It'll probably change by the end of this. The point of this series is to talk about my experiences living on my own in my 20s, as well as sharing some of my friends' experiences. So you're going to see different interviews from many of my friends and get their take on what it's like living on their own. But up first, it's time to talk about me. I've been living on my own now for almost 2 years. The apartment that I live in is great. Here's the thing. Rent is real. It happens every month, and you, my friend, as an adult, have to pay for it. Depending on where you live, rent, utilities, together, a miracle. Again, this all depends on where you live. Unfortunately, in the area that I live in, rent and utilities are sold separately, okay? Bills, student loans, food, clothes, just everything. A mess. And by the time you get your paycheck, it's already gone. So there are times where everything's paid for. However, I am having sleep for lunch. That's a whole thing that is trash. Credit is a real thing. You have to pay your credit card bills. Because if you don't, you being approved for an apartment, it's a struggle. I am one of the many people who is tired of Sally Mae, Navient, David, Michelle, and Amanda calling me from phone numbers that I would think I would recognize, but they aren't, trying to trap me and trick me into letting me know that I owe them $75,000 and I need to pay it by Friday. I don't have the money, David. Leave me alone. The moving in process, it was bad. It was pretty bad. I moved in the summertime. I moved in on one of the hottest days of the summer, and the air had not been turned on yet. So I was basically living in a hot box, and the air didn't get turned on for about 2 weeks. It sucked. It was terrible. I just remember moving in and just having an emotional breakdown, like crying. And my dad had helped me move in, and he was like, it's okay, I know you want everything to be perfect, like it's gonna be fine, you know, you're here. And I just remember saying, like, I don't even care that the air's not on, like I don't want it to be perfect, I'm just tired and I just want everything to just work for one. Like, I had been exhausted because I had been looking for apartments, I had been running around. So like, I share that story so that you guys know that this whole situation is not perfect. I'm not perfect, and moving in wasn't, you know, the best. I had to work my way to get to this flower wall, okay? And this is still a struggle. Somewhat of an exhausting process when finding this apartment. I had to do a lot of research, and I mean a lot of research. During my lunch break at work, I was going to apartments and looking at them, doing, you know, the house tour. I was driving by certain apartments at night to see what the atmosphere was like at nighttime, make sure it was a safe neighborhood. I made a list of pros and cons I wanted versus things that I needed, were kind of deal breakers for me. So the biggest deal breaker on my list when apartment hunting was a parking space. I can admit to you, because I've talked about my driving anxiety, I cannot parallel park right now. I can barely park. I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. Pull in, parking spot, that's me. That's me all day. So I couldn't get an apartment that had street parking because I knew I was going to be stressed out, and I didn't want to do that. Of course, I want to eventually learn how to parallel park, but the stress of finding an apartment was enough for me. I didn't want to have to be stressed out about having to find street parking. Every apartment that I went to, the first thing I asked about was, how is the parking situation here? So you have to figure out what your deal breakers are for you. You have to watch out for everybody projecting onto you. So I live in a studio apartment. I love this space. I got opinions of, you sure you don't want a 1-bedroom apartment? Is that enough space for you? Yes, it is. I'm only one person. I don't need a lot of space. I also didn't want to feel pressure to fill up a space with stuff, because that would involve me buying more furniture. And I already struggle to buy the furniture that I have in here now. A lot of people are trying to be helpful, but pick what works for you. If you know that you're not gonna wanna buy furniture for a 2-bedroom apartment, then don't get a 2-bedroom apartment. If you know that you can't afford a 3-bedroom apartment, don't let Kelly tell you that you need to have a 3-bedroom apartment. Is Kelly paying rent? No, she's not. She's just telling you what she likes, and that's very nice. But Kelly, you get your 3-bedroom apartment yourself. Don't force me to do it. Overall, it's been fun. There have been issues. In the area that I live in, it's definitely different from my parents' house. I don't have control over the air and the heat. During the summertime, the air is turned on and everybody's allowed to use it. And once summer and spring are over, they cut the air off and then they wait for a certain amount of time to turn the heat on. So I'm in the midst of waiting for the heat to be turned on before the cold months, start to get in. But that's one thing that I had to learn to adjust to. There's a time during the winter where I'm really hot. I have to use my, dusty, trusty fan because I don't have AC to control it. Living on my own has really allowed me to do a lot of problem solving. If something's broken, I have to be the one to figure out how it's gonna get fixed. Make sure that I have furniture and food. And if I decide to entertain guests, which, that's exhausting, I have to make sure that I have stuff for that guest to be entertained. I didn't have furniture for the first 4 months living in this apartment. I moved in with my clothes and everything else was borrowed or gifted. Really got a great deal on Craigslist for some furniture. Got my couch from Target. My family was just really helpful in, letting me borrow things. My sister went out and bought me some essential things that I didn't even know I needed. Totally forgot about having a shower curtain. Like, who forgets that? Me. I need a shower curtain, stuff to put your utensils in, like the utensil holder. I had no idea that I needed that until she bought it and I was like, I need this. Say that I 100% love living on my own. I really love being able to come back to my apartment that I pay for in peace and quiet. I love that the work that I'm putting out, I'm getting back in the form of living. Comment below and let me know your apartment situation or your living, comment below and let me know your living situation. If you have a first apartment story or advice or tips, please leave them in the comment section below. I'm pretty sure somebody is watching and wondering what their next steps should be. Take the advice with a grain of salt. You don't have to follow everybody's rules and regulations. And just, yeah. So I hope you liked this series. I hope it wasn't too long and boring. I know it's gonna be long, but at least I hope it's entertaining. And I will see you guys in my next video.